All right, guys. Hey, welcome back, man. This is episode number 6. Finally, hey, look, listen, bro. The last episode was crazy, and we're still kind of working on the outcomes of that stuff there, man. Katie and Stephanie actually texted me today. We should talk about that once we get done here, John.
For sure.
But yeah, hey, thanks for joining us again. John, I didn't forget you this time.
Yeah. I'm John.
Yeah. My fearless partner right there, and then the homie Kevin Mitchell we finally made it, man.
The notorious.
The founder of ESN, of Empowerment Solidarity Network. He's also a board member on the Chinook Center board. So yeah, man. Thanks for coming, bro. We're gonna talk about it. We got some good stuff to break down, man. And this is really our conversations that we've had in private, just amongst ourselves, is the reason that John and I was like, man, we should just start recording it, man, and let people, let activists in the city see it and try to get a conversation going, man. So anyway, when old Kev speaks, people listen, bro. So I appreciate you, man. So far, we've had Stephanie Rose Spalding. We've had Dr. Marcus Herrick. So it's only fitting that we got the adoptable Kevin Mitchell, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Right back at y'all. Y'all fire, for real. Love y'all.
Yeah. Hey, John, it looks like your sound went out, bro. Yeah, it went out. Hey, but anyway, we're gonna we got a movie review we wanted to talk about. So just before we start the show, we want to kind of talk about some stuff that's going on in the culture and whatnot. And one of the big movies during the COVID-19 quarantine process that's been going on for us all was watching Extraction, man. So Kevin said that he watched it. He turned it off. I want to know why you turned it off.
No. I didn't turn it off. It's just because I get up in a wee hours and go to Denver, so I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
Oh, you fell asleep.
Hey, I heard some critiques about it, man, and I was wondering if that was one of the things that you caught up on too. And then we'll talk about it here too. But John, you said I know you and I both watched it. What's your take on it, man? How'd you like it?
So I gotta say, I'm usually in Kevin's position. I usually fall asleep during movies. Just ask my family. But I actually stayed up for this one. So we wanted to check it out. So Sean made a post about it, and Sam had known about it too. That's my wife. I don't know if you guys have caught on to that over the couple episodes. And we used to live in Bangladesh, and it pretty much takes place mostly in Bangladesh. So we wanted to check it out. So just like a recap for those who haven't seen it, we won't ruin the ending for you. Don't worry. So there's an Indian drug dealer. His son is kidnapped and taken to Bangladesh by the biggest drug dealer in Bangladesh. And so then they have to hire the Indian drug dealer hires an Australian mercenary to go rescue him from Bangladesh.
Yeah, and he's a bad motherfucker, bro. He's like fighting with the pistol. I was like, man, he's living my dream life, man. Like until he went on that bridge. Oh, we said we're not talking about the
movie.
Don't talk about the bridge.
Until there was a certain part. My bad, man.
Bruh.
But anyway,
Thanks.
You'll appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Sean.
My bad. No, nothing happened, man. Yeah, man. He went to the London Bridge. He met the girl. Then
exactly.
You'll see about it.
London Bridge is fun.
Anyway, man, he was living my dream life. I was like, man, dude, I wish I would have learned how to do that when I was in the Army somewhere. Like, I wish I would have went trained, did that shit. I didn't know, man. I was the logistics. I was with the females in the rear with the gear, bro.
Well, but you know what? So this is that thing, the real life Merc versus movie Mercs. Did you guys see the two dudes, the former Green Berets down in Venezuela?
I saw that.
Yeah, man, they got caught up, right?
The perk walk, man. Bellies out, they had them naked out there.
That's true Merc life.
That's bad, man. I wonder what's up. We'll probably never. Well, I don't know. There might be a book
in the future
about
we
that
will.
one, actually. Yeah. They're gonna talk about that.
I mean, I don't know. The U.S. hasn't taken any responsibility. Back in the day, the CIA was like so obviously behind it, but I don't know what's,
Yeah, it's obvious.
Four angles today.
The whole, even before, the Venezuelan economy tanking and shit. Like we had something to do with all. Well, they had something to do with all that, man. For sure, without question, man.
U.S. has been trying to overthrow
so Extraction,
for days.
dog. It was dope. It was a great. I liked it. Kevin, finished it up, man. Let us know what you think.
Oh,
bro.
indeed, I like it so far. It's dope.
Yeah, and it made me want to be I should go be a mercenary, dog. I think I might. I don't know, bro. Once I hit 50, maybe I you know what I'm saying? I have to go get that adrenaline back up again or something.
That's what we're gonna do. This is actually we're starting the Just Cause Mercenary crew right now.
Well, I'm down.
All right.
So if anybody needs a mercenary in Colorado Springs, just let us know.
We'll come through.
Now Souther's gonna be sending somebody to your door.
We'll play both sides. We don't care.
Yeah.
It's about the money for us.
Oh man. All right, man. Hey, so we'll get to the meat of this thing, huh?
Yeah. So go ahead, Sean.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay, yeah. So so we were having discussions like, man, how do we start this shit, man? And like, where do we all come from or whatnot? And it was kind of a funny coincidence that during the Iraq invasion that I was in the military and I was gung-ho for sure with it. And John was a anti-war protester. So we were joking about, I would probably ride past him in the, at the gate or whatever, like, man, look at these damn hippies, man. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to go, man. I don't know. I think I remember seeing some protests, and I remember them telling us places that stuff was going on or whatever. I can't really remember, but
so just to jog your memory, Sean, maybe we should share our pictures of ourselves right now from back in the day. So
let me see if
this
I
is
recognize you.
Sean sort of introduced it. Many years ago, before Sean and I met, we were on opposite sides of things. Sean was a gung-ho soldier, ready to go kick some ass.
Hell yeah. Bombs over Baghdad. I was playing it in my car and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was a college anti-war activist, and I probably couldn't have been more cliche. So we have some pictures of us from back in the day, actually. So maybe this will jog your memory if you recognize me outside the gate there, Sean.
All right.
So that's what I'm gonna look like.
You, dog.
And I don't remember seeing you. So see if you can guess who's who here.
For real though. Well, there's.
I know, it's really surprising.
There is Bob Dylan.
I had my my S3's hat on, man. Major feat. We were training up. We were in California at NTC just before we went, and yeah, man, that's a blast for that's crazy, man. Look at your hair, man.
Wait, do you have hair under there back then, Trump?
Nah, I might have been hanging in, man. No. I cut it off in 2001, man.
Okay.
I started the Bic in 01.
Yeah. Nice.
I gotta Bic this too.
Yeah.
That's back when I had like a decent amount of hair.
That's just crazy, man. So you remember what you were talking about?
I don't remember what that was. It was 2006 anti-war rally in Acacia Park, but I don't know.
Acacia Park.
Yeah. I went to a lot of those back, and I was emceeing this one, so it must have just, I don't remember. 2006 maybe there was like a big surge in the death toll perhaps in Iraq. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we thought that this would be an interesting story to tell about, how did we go from these two folks that would never have crossed paths, or if we would have crossed paths, we probably would have been like yelling at each other, right?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Depending, yeah, probably for sure. And then we'll talk about it. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. To like where we are today now, like Sean and I have like been in several protests together, and we're fighting, side by side usually nowadays. So it's kind of a fun story, and also it's an uplifting story, everybody, about how activism can bring people together.
Right.
But we also, since Kevin is such a well-known activist in the community, we thought it'd be interesting to hear his story as well. But I'm going to take these pictures down now, if that's okay with y'all.
Yeah.
Unless you guys just want to leave them up.
I mean, it's cool.
Yeah,
we didn't get an old picture of you, Kev. Do you have one? You can send us one in.
I think I burned all those. Actually.
It was hard. I was like, man, I thought I had more pictures in this, man. I don't know, man. I think if I didn't tell anybody I was in the Army, I might not be able to prove that shit. Like, I don't know if
Fam, same here, bro.
Yeah, like shit,
I don't even know Kev was in the Army.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So it was
long time
on Memorial Day weekend, huh? That's what's up. Yeah, man. So speaking of Memorial Day weekend, I started my activism because of Lil Wayne.
What?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Lil Wayne, man. So he made a video or was doing a photo shoot or some sort, and he was standing on an American flag.
Yeah.
And I was like, this shit had me hot, bro. Like, I was mad as fuck about it. I still don't appreciate it. But, I'm definitely not as outspoken against people speaking their mind and being in their space where they do what they do. But anyway, I posted on Facebook about it, like, man, I'll beat the brakes off of Lil Wayne's little ass. The same kind of stuff I do on Facebook now. Except it was just like other stuff. I would talk about sports and music and stuff back then, So anyway, I had a friend of mine, Leandra. You remember Lily, Kevin? And she got at me on Facebook and she was like, hey man, do you even know what you're talking about? And I'm like, do you know what you're talking about? Yes, I know. I got all of these motherfucking deployments. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So, she was a good friend of mine. Even then at that time, she was a good friend of mine. And she came to the house, she was crying. She broke down all of the, the systemic things that she'd identified already and the things that we all talk about, And it was the first time I was hearing somebody want me to understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was always something that I was like hovering over, just living my life, the same way every people that ignore us now are doing. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand what it is. But anyway, that's where it started, because I was like, damn, maybe is she right? And I started looking around like, damn, she is right. This shit was in the Army too, And so, I don't know. I can't really remember what my first thing. I think it was when Philando Castillo got shot. This is when the first time that Kevin and I worked together, and it was the first time. It was the first time anybody had worked with me, because it was the first thing I ever did. But Leandra and I organized the I don't know. I guess it was just like a community. I don't know. I really wasn't a protest, man. I guess it was like a visual kind of. But so we had we got in touch with the NAACP and all of the headlining people that we could think of to try to get the word out, and they helped Lisa Villanueva. She got us speaker systems and mics and stuff like that last minute. Like, we did it in 2 days, man, and there was like 400 people at Memorial Park wearing all black that day. So that was my first like, oh shit, like people were moved for this thing, and we really didn't even. We accomplished like a community like saying, hey, yeah, I'm here too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was all telling each other, like, hey, I saw that shit too. That's what it was, And we had a whole bunch of dope talent out there too. Jason Martin is one of the people I could think of, like, right off the top of my head. He did a dope poem that he was on, it was some, like on HBO or something like that, one of them shows, The Rock, I forgot the slam contest, I forgot what it is, they call it the slam or something like that, with poetry slam or something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was on TV, it was real dope, he did a poem for us, so I was like really motivated and like ready to go. You know how it is, once you get a successful action, you're like,
yeah, man.
All right, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do this again. So, that's kind of where it came from. And then, unfortunately, that's last summer. That's when us all three came together from that. And before that, I had a restaurant. I was trying to do things in the community, man. We were doing, budgeting classes and things like that for single mothers, and breakfasts and stuff like this for churches. And we were doing giveaways at schools. We were sponsoring elementary schools for their school supplies, so the parents didn't have to do it. We were taking it from the parents and going to buy it for them or getting it donated or whatever. So it was like a real cool thing that we had going on. You know what I'm saying? So then, of course, then we all met each other after that.
Yeah. So you met Kevin then, is that right?
Yeah, man, Kevin, we met where
man, we met running, and then we talked like at that Jesse Garcia gym.
Jesse Garcia,
at the city hall.
City Hall. That's the first
Yeah.
time. Yeah. And then after that, it was my homeboy Damaris.
Yeah. Indeed.
Damaris. Yeah. So after that, so it was kind of a, it was one of the things when things happen in the city. We was like, "What's up, fam?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. I think with Devon Bailey's murder, that's when we like turned it up. That's for the first time together.
Indeed. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's when I met you guys.
John. So what's up, man? How about you?
I guess maybe I met Kevin a little before that. I don't remember. But well, I don't know. I'm curious about Kevin, since this is like you guys were doing this stuff. Like I didn't live in Colorado Springs then during the height of the Black Lives Matter stuff. So was that going on? Were there a lot of Black Lives Matter mobilizations going on around then, or?
No, I wouldn't say it was a ton. I think that Devon actually, like Sean said, Philando really did spark some, because that was that one we just knew for sure we were going to get, justice from that. That man, right. No record, nothing they could use against him. And NRA, everything. Like he literally told that cop, "Hey, I have a permit. I'm armed." The cop told him to pick it up, and he still got killed. So that was the one.
Like, oh!
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're that scared, you need another job, bro. Like,
right. And that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? You're out of shape and you're scared. You can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why, man.
That was real talk.
Right. I didn't mean to cut you off, Kevin. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think what the kind of the thing here in the Springs is like, oh, that ain't gonna happen here. You know what I'm saying? It was one of the things like we didn't think that was going on. Well, I knew it was going on. I knew it was happening because when I saw that the cop do the choke old boy out, cops do that here. They do that. They'll do that right now tonight. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like just this year. Like that was when I was a kid. I remember that going on. So. Right. It was, like, damn, bro. For me, it was like, hold up, everybody got to stop and listen to this shit. So I'm gonna start saying when, this was when to say fuck the police on Facebook was like FTP. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, let's see what happened first.
Yeah, that's what I still do.
Right, FTP exclamation point. You know what I'm saying? See what happened. That's how it was. You know what I mean? So now, like
1312.
I was like, man, fuck that shit. Fuck these fat bastards. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fight. They killing us, man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, man. I think that was kind of the tempo here. And then when Philando, once I saw all of them black people, I was like, damn, there is a lot. Where the fuck?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For
like,
real.
So I started realizing that the black community was fractured. We're present. It's fractured. It's so broken down, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? They've already divvied this thing up. The NAACP, the SLC, the Democratic whoever, and all of this crap. And it like that's who it is now. You know what I'm saying? So now that one person, that's why we see that one guy, one person's name. So anyway, that's where we're like,
which person are you talking about exactly? Who are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm talking about Rosemary ass. I'm talking about
I get you.
Promise. They all and I'm not saying that either one of them individual or there's more, but that they didn't do good shit or wasn't trying to do good shit. But it's just like, bro, it's still happening, fam.
Exactly.
What's the bar? Tucker, James Tucker. He was my teacher in high school, man. And same way, like, man, what the hell's wrong with you, bro? Like, it's something wrong with y'all because you've been talking about this shit since the 80s, right? How long you been doing it? Okay, they still killing us, bro. They killed that summer. They killed Jesse V-Hill. I can't remember V Hill. They killed Devon. Then they killed what's fam's name?
Jeffrey Melvin.
They electrocuted
with the taser.
All back to back to back. They did this. They're still doing it. So you know what I'm saying? Promise was the only one that was like, man, what do you call them? Handkerchief head preachers. I love when he says that shit.
No, indeed.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, he was the only one, and that was the only reason why I rode with him. Did anything with him. Yeah.
Right. So what about you, Kevin? What brought you to activism? Like, how did you get involved in stuff? What was your first political act?
Wow. I mean, I fancied myself as a hip hop artist and always had it in the music, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of course, it's in my poetry. I did a benefit for Jesse Garcia, the homie Olivia Romero. She is like, hey, you want to get on the bill? So, I got on that bill. It was at the flux capacitor down on Shelton, like this dope ass, you know, it remind me of some underground New York type.
Yeah,
you know,
I never even heard of it. Yeah,
it's dope,
I've heard
man.
of it, but I've never been there.
man, that's dope. I want to go.
Oh, they wind up shutting it down, fire codes
Yeah.
and all that. But
I think there's a new place up in like like that North Nevada warehouse area up there now.
Yeah.
It's not flux capacitor, no, it's like something else, right?
Huh. I need to get up on that, man.
Yeah.
But I'm too old to be on stage now, bro. But you know, I really wasn't like, I hate using the term professional activism, you know what I'm saying? I was just an artist using his voice the best way he could.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Jesse Garcia situation, you know, I had met Rosemary, who Sean had talked about earlier, who was the state conference president. And I wind up linking with her, and I was her criminal justice.
NAACP.
I was her criminal justice head for the state. And then I started being at the rallies, and you know, of course, Trump came in office. So, and not to, you know, we've been experiencing that shit since we were born. That racism and all that. What Trump is emitting now is just shit we've seen. So it wasn't like a big road bump for us. Like,
he's just saying the shit out loud now.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
You know, I'm from Texas anyway, man. And, you know, I've seen that shit every day. But you know, most of our allies, they went into this uproar because they were uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, they don't take action until they're uncomfortable. Even us,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I started attending more of those rallies, and then just started with poetry, and then I started speaking. And, you know, me and some of the homies, we gathered and created ESN. Just because we, you know, like Sean has hit the nail on the head. We always talk about the national issues, you know, and they are our issues. All of these issues are our issues. Mm-hmm. But we always talk about the national issues, but that shit was happening right here in the Springs. You know, You got Jesse Garcia, you got V Hill, Devon Bailey, you got all these brothers that, you know, even the brothers that sued the police department for, you know, brutality.
Just recently,
yeah. You know, so, you know, ESN, you know, we wanted to do ESN to deal with more local issues. You know what I'm saying?
Empowerment Solidarity Network, right?
Yeah,
right.
Indeed. You know, like
we need the berets, baby.
Yeah, you know what?
That's true.
You know,
Sean's all about the berets.
We can do berets up, bro. We can
beret. I don't know.
we can take a vote on it, but I'm kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna grow my hair back out.
Man, I've been trying, and then
lost your bed there, Sean.
Sorry, I got it. Yeah.
Then I just started seeing how my hair's thinning, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, maybe I do want a beret, actually.
So, closely shaved it is, man.
Oh, man.
You know, it's around that time period with Jesse Garcia's murder by Jack Rogers, who was a retired cop whose son was CSPD.
Okay. What year was that?
That was, I want to say, 3 years back.
Okay. I feel so out of the loop because I was like gone for so many years, and then I've been back maybe 2 years? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
But you know, I will confirm that. But
yeah,
man, he got shot in Taco Bell. Dude said that he straight was harassing him, but Jack Rogers was harassing everybody on the block. He was a known racist, you know what I'm saying? Like taking notes about who was coming and going, you know what I'm saying? Like always poking at the young man and stuff like that. And
it sounds a lot like something that just happened recently in Georgia.
Imagine
real though, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know what I'm saying? With that, I felt that, you know, like I had my blinders on for some time with Colorado Springs. Oh, it's a lovely place to live. You know, the mountains. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it is lovely, but there's still some fucked up shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, bad. We got this illusion of progression here, which is, I mean, we're just as bad as everybody else.
Yeah.
We just don't, you know, promote it on the news as much. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Right.
At least till, you know, Devon, unfortunately, you know, Devon had to die
it takes pushing.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, about the times of Jesse Garcia, you know what I'm saying, I started really getting involved beyond arts, you know.
Right.
All right, John. So 20 years plus, man. I know, listen, that's a long time to remember back, man. But when did it start? Think back then.
What did start it? We need some effects, man. I need some like blurry
little smoke and shit. Yeah.
You guys are just actually. I know Kevin's older than us, so.
My mom didn't appreciate our filthy mouths last episode, John. She was like, "You got to cuss so much." I didn't even answer that text yet. But anyway,
Sean's mom.
Is this a no-cuss show today?
We'll try not to cuss
that's
so
all
much.
right.
Okay, I was about to say. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I was like, did I cuss?
Surprisingly didn't mention that, so.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, my bad, man. Go ahead, John. I want to hear this.
I mean, it's an interesting question because it's kind of like leftist activist pastime sometimes in a way that like, how did you get started in this?
Yeah.
And it wasn't Chomsky. A lot of people are like, I read Chomsky.
Oh, okay.
But that wasn't where I got started. I mean, Chomsky's cool, but so like I'm always like I'm a little bit like Kevin. I've always like been into like sort of like proto-political or whatever. Like I listen to punk rock and things like that, and I like anarcho-punk stuff.
Yeah, man.
But and I used to like be a skateboarder, and like being a skateboarder, you're just always like on the other side of the law. Just like every day you're like running away from cops and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I think it was around 92 when Colorado was passing there's an amendment that passed in Colorado that basically made it legal to discriminate against gay people. And my friend was in high school, had just basically come out of the closet like right around that exact same time. And like it got really real for me. I was like, oh damn, maybe there's a thing that's important, you know, like things that happen at the legislative level might affect people's daily lives. You know, and he was like getting like threats from people at school, like, and the coach at my high school down in Pueblo was like, you guys all need to kick his ass. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So like that was, and we went to like a thing up at the college in Pueblo. There was like a talk or whatever. It was having Will Perkins, actually. He was the sponsor of this. Bill, I remember my friend like yelled out at him something. I don't even remember now. And I was like, yeah, right on. Badass shit. But then after that, you know, like I don't really remember. I didn't like become an activist back then, but I very much became much more interested in politics.
Yeah.
2000, 2001. I was living in Austin at the time, and there was a demonstration against the death penalty down in Austin. My friend was in a socialist group down there, and he's like, "Hey, come on down. We're having a demonstration." And you know, like I didn't have like some particularly strong feelings about the death penalty, to be perfectly honest. But I was like, okay, you know, like that sounds fucked up, you know. So I went down there, and we were like down at the state capitol in Austin, or not the state, the state capitol.
The city capitol.
Like, yelling, you know, whatever it was that we were shouting. And I was like, this is pretty fucking awesome, you know. Sorry, Sean's mom, dang it.
This sorry.
I know, I'm like.
No, our voices like echoing off. I don't even know what came of that. Like, but then I moved back to, it must have been 2000, because we moved back to Colorado Springs. I've come back and forth from Colorado so many times. Keeps drawing me back. And I got all into like Green Party politics. I was like big Ralph Nader fan, and you know, like, I think I had like a Ralph Nader sign in my window, and does anybody here know who Ralph Nader is? Like, and I started organizing critical mass bike rides when I got back, because I found that there was somebody who was doing them here, and I knew that they happened in Austin. Critical mass bike rides were just these bike rides that you, like bicyclists, go out and we're just like, we take over the streets. Like we have just as much right to the street as anybody else, like as the cars or whatever. But I didn't have a car or anything at the time, you know, so I was like one of those militant bicyclists. So we'd go out and we'd just like take over the street. And so like my first foray into like really organizing politics is like doing like kind of confrontational politics, because cars would be like, bing, 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 spam, fuck you know?
Yeah.
And I'm all, yeah, right on. So that kind of like,
yeah. So you're the reason why all these damn bike lanes are all down.
For real, you know.
Yeah, you guys can blame us.
Like, man, how do you get? I don't know. I'm like, man, I hope I don't kill nobody on this shit, because I don't know what none of that shit means. Just be careful. That means be careful. Whatever I'm doing, be watch.
Just don't drive in the bike lanes, guys.
Yeah, I won't.
Finally, it just took 20 years. It only took 20 years.
Joking.
Right, yeah. But you did that shit, man. Y'all did that shit. It's like full blast all through the city too, like everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
It's full blast.
I use them. I just used them today.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know that's good because the other day, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, I asked you. I was like, "What was your biggest accomplishment or best accomplishment?" You were like, You really couldn't put a thought to, like this dude just fucking goes and goes and goes and goes and don't really keep a score. You know what I mean? So like, obviously that's what real people like you do. You know what I mean? But to be able to hear it, like, man, that's pretty dope. You know what I mean? I would have been, I don't know. Like, I get it. I get the bike. I think all of that shit should be just like that. But though, like, how come the sidewalk can't be bigger? Why did the street?
For real, though, man. For real.
Sidewalk, that's like super safe, you know what I mean? But I don't know. But anyway, that was the only thought I ever had about bike lanes. Like, shouldn't it be on the sidewalk and just put a bike lane on the sidewalk, maybe?
Well, but pedestrians. So you know how car drivers hate cyclists?
Mm-hmm.
Pedestrians hate cyclists too. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say cyclists hate pedestrians.
We love everybody.
I don't know. Did you?
No, that's good, man. But so listen, that's another thing about the importance of this show and like the reason why we try to collaborate like this, because there are so many activists doing real shit that people really like is affecting people's lives that I have no clue about. Like, I wouldn't ride a bike from here to the 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't understand why that's important to somebody. But though, I get it. Just like, with Yolanda Avila, I always give her credit for her work with the transportation part in the district. You know what I'm saying? But though, like, for me, my problems are, man, a little bit more important than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to say something. You know what I mean? So, but though, it helps somebody. There's somebody that's either blind or deaf or, or can't hear or whatever, that shit is helping them immensely. Like, it changed everything about every day for them. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I get it, man. So anyway, that's the reason why. So if people are like, man, why the hell are they even doing this? That's why, man, like all of the activists, we want you guys to come and say something to us and holler at us, man, and let us know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and how we can help you, because I've learned better. You know what I'm saying? I've learned, and I know that everybody needs everybody's help. You know what I'm saying? And we all need to get it done. And once we start that, then they can't control us. You know what I'm saying? It'll be too big. So,
yeah. I mean, once we start seeing all those as connected, that's what I'm always trying to tell people. Like, all our struggles, maybe not all of our struggles, but a lot of our struggles are connected.
Right.
Some of those weirdos' struggles I'm not connected with.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about some of that shit.
We are not the same.
Yeah, not at all, man. Hey, so can we talk about Joe Biden?
Man,
yeah, let's talk about Joe Biden before we get more deep into this.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought we were getting close to it, but I just want to, because it just popped up on my news feed here. So Joe Biden, he gets on the Breakfast Club and he says, they were asking him questions, and one of his quotes was, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." That's what Joe Biden said on the Breakfast Club, man.
Wait, so if I don't vote for him, am I not black?
Nope.
I guess not. Yep, sure not.
Damn, John,
says
what's
Joe.
up, bruh?
I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with you, man? I can't believe that. That's how disconnected this shit is. So if of course, I don't want Trump in there, So if they put who put this guy up there anyway? So the Democrats put this guy up there. Then what do we do?
Well,
I was just telling John, like, I don't know, man. This shit might be worse than Hillary and Trump, bro. It might be worse. Maybe not, but I don't know. It seems like who's better now? You know what I'm saying? It don't make any sense to me. What the fuck we're doing? I mean,
honestly, it's so fucked up now. Like, it's always been fucked up, but I'm saying it's so fucked up now. It's time to spark the shit up and get some change. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going with the status quo. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because, he's just as much as of a rapist and a racist as Trump is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that whole the parts out loud, right?
Yeah, and that's systemic racism right there, to fucking think that your white ass can tell me what defines a black person?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like,
think that could come out of your mouth.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you telling me what I need.
Right.
Or
right.
you're like,
or what I am, because like that, this ridiculous. Like, listen, man, I get what it was a joke. It was, I think I hope, I didn't listen, I didn't hear, I just read the thing and heard him talk about it on the news. So I'm assuming that, you ain't black if you don't do this or whatever. Like, and somebody told that guy to say that shit. But just the fact, like, I wouldn't even have said that shit on the news.
At all, man.
I wouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying?
At all.
So what the hell? That shows that this dude is disconnected, bro. It's like, completely has no clue what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how about get out in the community and ask what they need and be like,
right.
I will try to be the best.
Do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, instead of I got you.
Yeah,
right.
At least these guys won't be calling you N-bombs out loud anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I prefer it in my face.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
hey, John. So this what's the next part of this thing? So after we did the bikes, or do you want to talk about Joe Biden?
I don't know. Fuck Joe Biden, but also on the other hand, I'm like, I hate Trump. I'm really torn about this shit, but I gotta say that I think that Joe Biden has a better chance than Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was a woman. Joe Biden's a dude. I think just that right there is enough to bring him over.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, people are sexist.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Sexist as hell.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the choice that we have. I don't know. You're right. He probably is better than Hillary's situation was, but no, I don't know, man. This shit for me is just like, I don't want to say that it makes me not want to vote, but this shit makes me not want to vote, man. Like, I don't get it. It don't make sense to me, man. So anyway, I always, every election cycle I get like this, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, somebody, or Chauncey the other day shared something about like how he's betting Amy Klobuchar, and I'm all, are you fucking kidding me? And like, whatever, I'm sure he's betting a ton of people, but the outright rejection of any progressive ideals within the Democratic Party right now is just outrageous to me, because that was such an activated part of the party that it's just ridiculous. I mean, just this shit. I'm going back to voting for Ralph Nader.
Well, I mean, me too. Shit.
Right in that Ralph Nader. That's everybody writing in.
I think that the Democratic Party has got so used to just like automatically getting people of color's vote because they market the Republicans as racist, which the majority of them are. You know what I'm saying? They're
increasingly, that's the party identity is just like overt racists.
Hell yeah, but let's go back in history, and Democratic Party was the more racist of them, and
totally.
All they did was hide it better. You know what I'm saying? And we don't see these fools until November. You know what I mean? I remember having a conversation with Electra Johnson a while back, and I was like, you need to get in the communities before November and before it's an election year. Well, and don't even go to sell anything. Go see what it's like to live in these communities and be amongst the people. These are supposed to be your people. You're supposed to be a community member. Why don't you get your ass out there and be part of the community?
She's busy, huh?
Joe Biden knew corn pop, so.
I don't know if she's busy or not.
Joe Biden's going to be the third black president,
Exactly.
Fuck, man.
That dude, man. Like, and bro, like, you just can't keep your hands off women, bro. Like, you gotta touch. Weird, it is weird, bro. Like, literally,
they shouldn't be able to put that many pictures of you together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you can't feel them like tensing up, which means I'm uncomfortable with you touching me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got problems, but I
had to stand in the parade for Joe Biden one time in Fort Bragg, and man, I was shocked. This was like maybe 2005-ish, somewhere in there, 6-ish. Maybe 8. Oh, it was 2009. 2009, my bad. So anyway, man, how old he looked, man. Like, his hair, like, he looked old as hell back then. I'm like, yo, that's him? It was amazing to me, man. So just imagine what he looks like in person. Now I'm like, man, that dude, he's too old. Look, I understand you got to be a certain age to be the president, but there's also, I'm not saying, man, I know they're going to call me like ageist or something. But okay, listen, we're in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, at a certain point, you got to cut all that weird shit off. You got to be able to say like, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know what the age is, but there's an age that you're too old to be the president, man. That shit exists.
Well, I mean, your ideas, they continue to be what you grew up with, and sometimes you need to push them forward. It's not saying that you can't learn and have new ideas, but you know, I'll be 50 next year. You know what I'm saying? And I got my way.
Yeah, I can feel myself.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean?
Like, I don't really
all these kids and their crazy ideas.
Well, yeah, and it's just like we spoke about with activism. Like a lot of these older, you know, leaders that have been doing it for quite a bit, you know, they're hesitant to pass the torch because they want to stay relevant. Everybody likes to be important, you know what I'm saying? But the fact is, if the stuff is still popping off, it is a time for new ideas. I'm not saying I got the best, you know what I'm saying? I'm old too.
Right, but I got an idea though.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at least I'm open-minded to listen to shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, the Dems, they just they automatically think they're just going to get that black vote or the Latinx vote, or, you know what I'm saying, because Trump's bad for you, we're better. Y'all got super predator. I remember that, Hillary, you know what I'm saying? Mass incarceration bill, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are real things.
Joe Biden, the author of this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You know
That's we didn't even talk about that shit. Joe Biden wrote the shit.
Yeah. I mean, the years under Bill Clinton, like, were some fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when, like, we had the tough on, I mean, the tough on crime bills and all this shit that expanded under Democrats.
Right.
Like, to pretend like it's just Republican. Like, I don't even remember the last time I voted for a Republican. I'm not gonna lie. But that doesn't make me feel that much better. Like, when I have to go like to the ballot and vote for a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been doing this shit for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
the shit's what it is like just normal now. It's been normal for a minute, but you know, like, so what's the answer though?
Yeah,
is it a third party?
Like, so what do we do?
I think it is a third party.
What do we do to like affect change, like politically? Like, is electoralism even an effective path? What do you guys think?
You know what?
It's shown that it's not.
You know what I'm saying? Me and Sean talked about it a lot. Like, I used to not advocate voting, period. But the only reason I even say use it is because so many of our ancestors died to get that right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I do also say study who the hell is on the ballot. Don't just be like, okay, they're a Dem, they're our friends. Look at people, look at their records, look what they have done. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep an open mind to things. But honestly, you know what I mean? Like, my faith is not in it. You know what I mean? I think it has its place if you have the right people. Like, I back Stephanie Rose, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And then, you know, Jillian Freeland's
anything,
running. You know what I'm saying?
And for the mayor.
Yeah. For real.
Mayor, we're just
John.
Stephanie,
you know what I'm saying?
Watching.
Yeah,
and
Stephanie, stop playing.
Well, most people don't even know that in the Springs, it's nonpartisan, man. The ballot is nonpartisan. You don't have to have a party to run.
Yeah, but people know. That's the problem. I mean, everybody knows Southers is a Republican. And
yeah, exactly. But, you know, he's out. You know, he's about to try to be governor and shit.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I'm just blowing up the spot right now.
That's not gonna happen, but he'll try.
I hope not either, man. I hope they treat him like a little red-headed stepchild. Boy, you get your little...
Yeah, exactly.
Go
like
to Pueblo.
Sometimes it's like a Springs feeling where you're like, man, fuck you. We're the second biggest city in the state.
Yeah. I hope this time they just treat him
this time I do want him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like Springs,
you know, just like your boy is probably going to try to run for AG, which will be very problematic for everybody.
Who?
Dan? May? Yeah.
Again?
Dan May?
Oh,
I think
for AG.
Yeah. Because I think he's termed out on the DA.
Man.
Matter of fact, I got a little DA talk tomorrow.
So if we're talking about the DA, you guys, I have this thing where I just like follow Springs taxpayers, which is like this libertarian fucking shit that pops up on my Facebook feed all the time, and I just like troll them and shit.
Yeah.
And of course, they're not even from Colorado Springs; they're from fucking Black Forest. But they had this thing in there that like, oh, good for Dan May. He's defining probable cause as like, I don't know, witnessing some sort of crime with regards to the businesses opening. So he's like, basically saying like, I'm not gonna basically charge any of these businesses with any crime because we don't really have probable cause in this situation. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're going to play this fucking probable cause game with all these like white people opening up their businesses. When I'm like, but like, yeah, a kid running away is probable cause for fucking murder, apparently. Like, fuck that shit. That just pissed me off, dude. I was just like,
I'm trying to process like all of the things that he was like, whatever oh man, dude, I can't stand
law and order.
shit.
It's always law and order for fucking like any marginalized communities for these motherfuckers.
Hey, they said that they got 2 candidates already lined up for the DA spot. I can't
they're
remember
garbage.
Yeah, they're both trash.
Waller and Allen, they're both his proteges.
Yeah.
And Waller's only mad because the fact that he thought he was just going to walk up in there, but then Dan May endorsed Allen. So he didn't know that until I think he read about it in the paper or some shit.
Right.
And then he started getting mad, so he started getting buck. But yeah, they're both garbage. They both worked under Dan May.
Yeah.
So I remember we were talking about going at them and trying to get. Oh, my bad, John. Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
I remember us talking about getting at them and trying to get them to set their path before they started their campaign. Like, what is asking them questions on the record or something. Right, we should get at their ass, man.
No, indeed.
I think that's a good point, because like I don't think a lot of people are even talking about a lot of the issues that we care about in Colorado Springs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so make them go on the record before they even start a campaign. Like,
exactly.
And say something, because they're already presumed in, and he's mad because he got competition. You mad you got competition, dog?
Exactly. You just thought you were going to walk into that shit to give the same I mean, we talk about the cops all day. We talk about the individual officers all day, but they only doing this shit they doing because they comfortable, because these people are like, they got their back, like from the police chief, their supervisors to the desk sergeant, to the lieutenants, the captains, to the chiefs,
it's
the commanders. Exactly. And
all the way through.
They allow it because they know the DA ain't gonna press no fucking charges.
Yeah. I mean, Philadelphia and Seattle just had like huge movements in their DAs. They brought in these like really, really progressive DAs, which has just completely changed the culture of the cities. You know what I'm saying? And like, that'd be great if we could get something like that going on here, where it's like they're not going to prosecute these kind of ridiculous crimes. This reminds me that I want to talk about this on another episode, like stupid things like putting down hard on graffiti writers. Like, give me a fucking break. That's not a fucking priority. Did my sound go?
It was trying to. You're good though. You was in there.
Okay. God damn it. I don't know what's going on with my laptop.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the priorities for law enforcement in Colorado Springs are fucking outrageous, to be perfectly honest. And like, we need to change those priorities and how they're seeing law enforcement and the types of laws that they want to like really push.
See, and I love that you said the priorities, because that goes back to the political parties too, because you have a, quote, progressive governor that wouldn't even call that for an outside investigation when he had the power to do so. But when it was a white man who got assassinated, the CEO of the prison systems, Hickenlooper called for an outside investigation of that. So he displayed he had the power. So there it goes again, that the Dems love us and we got your back, but yet you wouldn't call an outside of it. The community wasn't even saying arrest these cops or whatever. They said we want a fair investigation. And that's,
we weren't even saying to cap them. Like,
you feel what I'm saying? Like,
that's why I changed my discussion. Like, I'm
bare
done with that bullshit. Yeah. Bare minimum. And the thing is, that was the strategy. That was strategic so that we could get more people to join it. So, because we knew that if we didn't do that, then people be like, I don't know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people really support these fucking cops, man.
Yeah, they do.
People that were like on the fringe, like, okay, yeah, I think you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to fucking, I don't know how many hours I had to spend on social media and dumb shit trying to get people to understand what we were talking about, man. It's so stupid to me that we got to do that shit. And then what? Nothing. When nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Nothing fucking happened, because that DA just he already had his line up from the jump.
Exactly.
Nothing happened. We need a
with
DA,
that bullshit grand jury shit, like, hey, I hear you, I got you. Bullshit, motherfucker, step aside. Because he could have recused himself and allowed somebody else outside to handle that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And going back to Polis had nothing to lose.
The AG did the same shit.
Nothing to lose, bro.
He passed it to Polis, and then Polis ignored. Like they all
they were just passing it around. Yep.
And then we was on they.
I mean,
door,
literally,
like,
Polis is catching.
The potato, they see in our face like, "What's up, bro?"
Polis is catching more flack for making motherfuckers wear masks.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Mama Walls.
Yeah, exactly. And he's feeling the heat more. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think this, though, an important conversation I think that comes out of this is like what we learn from this too. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and every time there's a new like campaign or mobilization, I feel like I always learn something. And like one thing I learned, and this is something I always learn, you just figure out the nuances of this shit, is like you have to hold them accountable. You have to escalate. I mean, we had that petition. I was just thinking about this yesterday. Somebody was like, what's the point of petitions? And it's like, well, you start with a petition, but you got to know that a petition ain't going nowhere. A petition is a way to sort of like garner support, and then you use those people to push further and further. And I think one thing that is important that came out of this is like we as activists and as community organizers and things like this, we have to know that even if we start here, like what Sean was talking about, you got to bring people in a little bit, but you have to continually keep pushing and pushing, increasing the level of militancy, increasing the level of confrontation, because that's all they care about. I mean, once they start feeling like the normal operation of the machine isn't going to work, they're not going to pay attention to you unless they think they're going to lose votes or
lose money.
Like they're not, or money. Status, they really have no interest in listening to a lot of the issues that we're going to be bringing up, especially, you know, things like Black Lives Matter mobilizations.
That would be great for them to understand that. You know, the thing, like, you know what I realize is that when, like, what the people want is really what happens. You know what I'm saying? So for us, yeah, we are the people, but there's more of them that don't give a shit about this than us. It's obvious, and I think that's the thing. They're not worried about losing their vote. They're not worried about that shit. So being able to like galvanize all of this shit that, like we were just talking about, all of the activists and all of the causes, that's the only way, man. It is literally the only way to, and then on the federal level, they got the electoral shit that they could just, Bernie Sanders did the shit, right? And they flipped it up, and he was out of there twice.
Yeah, like they had a plan.
Yeah. So anyway, they've shown that your vote really does not count. It don't fucking matter. But the only place that I believe that it counts like hugely is locally. It's locally in your district, and in your county. You know what I mean? Yeah, so anyway, you know, like think like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think that like conversations like that always, like, we just need to make it I don't know, like a thing to talk about somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like people need to be talking about vote local. Like fuck, what would happen if like half the country didn't vote in the national election?
That's already the case, man.
Yeah,
you're right.
Y'all know we getting 4 more years of that, dude.
Golly, man. Anyway.
So, but I think that's a good point, though. I mean, so I think there's the strategy of mobilizing into popular opinion, like mobilizing voters in some ways, like voters or whatever you want to call them, like a mass-based strategy. But for some situations, and I think this is the case for like any minority group in any country, you know, like Muslims in South Asia, they weren't going to ever have the majority vote for their issues. So what they had to do was raise some fucking hell. You know what I'm saying? They had to display power. So I think it's handy to know, like, okay, are we going to build a mass base and build a majority base here around this issue? Or are some issues like going to be marginal issues that basically a small group of activists has to bring confrontation with them to get leverage, basically, you know? Authorities need to fear.
Well, I agree with
what's going to happen,
John, because I mean, look at these. I mean, we clown these cats, and we you know, why you bring a gun about a mask? Right. But they stormed the hell out of these capitals.
Yeah, they scared them.
And they didn't give a shit, because if the cops would have started popping off, they would have popped off and didn't give a damn. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They are ready to in their lives they believe that give me liberty or give me death shit. And I think that on
we got something
sometimes
to learn from that.
we do, man, because we still like you said it best, Sean. I think we had a group discussion about how we need to stop begging upon these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We continuously begging upon the people that are oppressing us to stop oppressing us when it benefits them to oppress us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So until we get that mentality of storming the fucking capitals too and be ready to do what we got to do, now they about to come to my motherfucking house.
Which is exactly what the Black Panthers did too. You know
they better
exactly.
Not. They better not, because I'm shooting. They come over here, bro. They better leave me the fuck alone, man. They better leave me alone, bro. All of them.
They will
also, most of those motherfuckers
written.
probably couldn't shoot straight anyway.
For real, man. You know what I'm saying?
Can't qualify, man.
With their fake missile launchers and shit.
But like Sean said, there is something to learn from that, and you're absolutely right. Until we get to that point where we're gonna have to be way more aggressive and confrontational with the powers that be, they ain't gonna listen to shit.
Yeah, we got to start mucking up everything, like so the gears can't turn anymore. You know
we were on that shit with Devon, man. We was in the mayor's face every time, man. That shit usually, and that's the thing, like. They got this big machine that just keeps going and going, and they'll wear you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got time to be everywhere he's gonna be forever. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that he could play it all. I bet you if we were still on his ass right now about the shit, he would have like lost his mind by now. You know what I'm saying? But we died up on it.
Yeah, so, and they know that. That's one of the main ways that people defeat social movements is they basically wait them out, because a lot of people that mobilize don't know, like, okay, this is a long-term campaign that we're going to have to do. And also a lot of people that participate in these, like, the Johnny come lately type folks, they think that like going to a protest or maybe two protests and holding a sign on the sidewalk is like how you affect change or whatever. But that's like just not been the history of either the US or like really most countries. You know what I'm saying? So like teaching people that this is what's necessary, carrying forward long-term campaigns with a strategy of escalation. Do a petition. They don't like a petition. Okay, we start to get in their face. They don't like us getting in their face. So on and so forth.
Right. Yeah.
But people have to know that.
And I think that also that people, like the everyday person has to know what they're investing in, and. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting for, change in the law, and also, a lot of things that were going to be long-term. But I think there's a lot of fear for short-term, because for the likes of, say, me and Sean, we still driving in early in the morning, or we going into like these predominantly white neighborhoods, like Monument cops be on my ass every fucking morning following me, bro. Like, and I'm just delivering papers, man. I literally got to fucking hold it up, and they still on my ass. So there's an urgency. There is the long term, but there's also the urgency. Like, what do we do to protect in the short term? And I think those more confrontational and aggressive do back them up to be like, we're not trying to fuck with them. Well, because they, what I'm saying, I think if we give them pause, like, you fuck with us, we don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, we don't even need to be activists to get fucked up. You feel what I'm saying?
Totally,
exactly, man. Yeah,
for sure.
Just walking around this motherfucker, man. So that's what my language has been ever since they killed Ahmaud Arbery, man.
For real, though.
I'm telling hey, I'm carrying the gun. I got my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, please, whatever the fuck you're doing, I'm shooting at you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's not violent to be self-defensive. You know what I'm saying?
They do it.
Self-defense is not violent.
That's how they act. That's how they talk and act.
I mean, that's how the fucking cops always say it. I mean,
right. Everybody else except us are shooting at the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Well, all right, I'm gonna change that shit. If they fuck with me,
hey man, I'm scared for my life.
Right. Exactly. I'm scared of these. That's what it is, bro. Like, it's not a joke. That shit's scary, man. That shit's scary as fuck, man. To know that there's people out there that will think you're somebody and chase you down and shoot you, bro. Like, I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I grew up in the 90s in America. I get that shit. But I'm just saying, bro, like, man, it ain't gonna be me. It's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be none of my family. There's gonna be consequences, and we can
get money up for a lawyer. Just saying. But you know what else is funny? Like, even in this pandemic really does bring out shit, and people, and well-meaning white folk You know what I'm saying? Like, there's clerks on my route, but they do that joke, and that shit'll get you killed too. Joking around and not being sensitive to a matter because you coming in with a mask. Hey, don't shoot me! Like, bro, this store is full of white people that will fucking not think you're joking, bro. And,
I've never gotten that.
You know, and it's like, why is that where you go? For me, I'm just trying not to bring no sickness to my kids, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm I'm just,
stupid, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's their subconscious. That's really what they're saying.
Exactly.
Man, how they feeling. They're saying what they're feeling is what
that's
it
the
is, man.
Cognition that's happening right at that moment.
Right. Yep. I had a guy. You know, I was on this roof the other day. He watched me the whole time holding the gun. The whole time. And then, you know, he said, when the crew gets here, I'm going to supervise them the same way. He told me he was supervising me, bro. I said, man, bro. All right, man.
Christ,
so I told him, I asked him, I said, hey, man, you know, are you trying to threaten me, or is there, you just carry your gun like that? And, you know, he said that he just carried his gun. But I made sure I let him know, like, bitch, okay, I will come back to this motherfucker when I get off work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll make you use that shit. I'm the one. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, I guess we could cut this. We'll get ready to shut this one down, John.
Yeah, we can wrap it up now. We don't want to take this on long.
Yeah, on a too much of a shit
probably
talking.
talk for a really long time. So
these motherfuckers. That's how I feel, really. But
indeed. You know, it's been an honor talking with you fellas. Thank you for having me, man. Y'all doing good work, bro. I enjoy hearing what y'all bring every week. Great chemistry, you know what I'm saying? I love working with y'all. Can't wait to get back on the battlefield with y'all.
I can't wait to see you guys in the streets.
Indeed,
yeah, man. Yeah, we got to get to work, man. We got some shit, man. Katie and Katie Bigelow and them, they waiting on us, man. So we definitely got to get to work on that. We should get that barbecue. Oh man, we missed an opportunity.
But I mean, the whole quarantine shit. So, all right.
Yeah. All right, man, guys.
It's always an honor to work with you too, guys.
Y'all take care.
We're gonna be all formal. Right on.
I'm gonna finish that movie.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace, y'all.